What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Hopefully you had a good weekend, had a lot of fun here, built that Dreamcast system, finally finished that little project up, and came out pretty cool, I think. It has full HDMI out, it can read SD cards, and it plays really, really well with a really clean picture. You can check that video out, did that yesterday. Of course, we did the Spawncast as well, and also took a look at an interesting update Nintendo did to the Switch to kind of boost the clock speeds of the CPU to speed up load times. So some interesting stuff actually happening over the weekend. Today, though, we're going to talk about Retro Studios because it looks like they're ramping up for Metroid Prime 4, and we can kind of start to maybe take guesses at when that game's going to come out, but it looks like Retro is, they're going big for this one, as we expect, and Days Gone actually surprised heavily in the UK. You're going to want to check out this, because it went up against Mortal Kombat 11. It might surprise you where they all kind of placed. As always, guys, enjoy these videos. Make sure you hit the like button. It does help out. We're going to start today with NBA Playgrounds 2. Of course, came out last year, and it was okay. It had some weird issues when it came to monetization practices in the game. Of course, 2K was publishing it, so we weren't really sure. Though, what's interesting about this is it looks like cross-platform play has now come to the game. We had heard a bit about this before it came out, but they actually put up an update on Twitter saying that it is now cross-platform for the Switch, Xbox One, and PC. I know, no PlayStation 4. I don't think anyone's really surprised. We, of course, know Sony's still kind of iffy on the whole cross-platform thing. Seems like there's a pretty strict, I guess, approval process for it, but hey, I guess you never know. At least we see them making strides to kind of make it so you can play against other people on different systems. We'll see if the PS4 ever jumps in, though. Oh, and we also got a bit of an update on how many people have subscribed to Nintendo's online service, the paid service. They are claiming in their investors briefing that they have 9.8 million paid subscribers for the Nintendo Online. Now, of course, the online is $20 as opposed to like Xbox Live and PlayStation's $60. So when they report that they have 30-something million paid subscribers, it is quite a bit more if you look at it that way in terms of revenue dollars. But having almost 10 million subscribers this quickly is pretty impressive, considering Nintendo's online obviously is quite far behind something like the Xbox Live service. So that's actually pretty good. And they said it does count pretty much everything, including those family plans, and it does not include any of the trial packages. So possibly things like the promotion with Twitch, where you could just kind of go to Twitch, you have Twitch Prime, you just get, 12 months. We get 3 months, then you got to come back and get the rest. But there were a lot of things they did to try to ramp up, obviously, the online subscriptions, including Tetris and everything. So seems to be working. Also, I have a feeling Smash Bros. Had a key role in pushing it up to almost 10 million. So I assume next time we hear about any of these numbers, it will be north of 10 million users. And Final Fantasy 12 is out this week on the Switch, and while Final Fantasy X was missing a few things from other iterations of it when it came to the Switch, it looks like Final Fantasy XII is going to include everything and then some. It's actually going to include stuff that was originally available in patches down the line, and they fit this all on one cartridge with no need to download anything further. Again, like 10.2, we had to download 10.2. This is actually posted on Reddit, and it was all done by a user by the name of Radical Memers, and they posted everything, including dual audio is included. This is all stuff on the cartridge, like straight up. Fast forward 2 times and 4 times are there for grinding, of course. And then stuff that was recently in the it was in a patch that they used to update it. Things like the Skyrit's Pirate Den has been added. You can reset your job in order to get another one. Gambit sets, New Game Plus that allows you to keep your inventory, like weapons, magic, gills. And overall, it sounds like, in general, this is going to be one of the better ports for like a Final Fantasy game. Apparently it looks like almost exactly like the PS4 version, so no extra download, is almost completely in parity, and has stuff that was added before in patches. Virtuos appears to have done a good job. I'm going to pick it up and see for myself, but now I'm really excited for it. Oh, and real quick, Kingdom Hearts 3 is getting some sort of DLC. I feel like we're going to find out more about it at Square Enix's E3 presser, but this was actually tweeted out by a person who appears to have been, I guess, at the Kingdom Hearts Orchestra, where Nomura himself announced DLC contents that's temporarily named Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, and it's me, a full paid one with additional scenario that, again, is just named Remind, limit episode plus boss, secret episode plus boss, English option and everything, and they're going to have for free a new Keyblade and new form. So yes, it looks like they are going to be putting more content out there that's paid. I think Kingdom Hearts fans are excited. They'd rather have paid content than nothing else. So this is, I think, a good thing. I feel like they have this announced at the orchestra, and then they're really going to tee it up for their E3 presentation that I still think I think Square is showing up with some big stuff here. Like I said, they have Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff, they have Final Fantasy 7 Remake, they have some Avengers project, maybe some new IP. What is it, Babylon's Fall, I think is the other one. They could potentially have a almost like Sony event type thing. So interesting stuff. Hey guys, some of the quick news out of the way. Let's get into the bigger stuff. We're going to start right away with Retro Studios. Now, of course, Retro Studios is currently heading the Metroid Prime 4 project. Originally, Metroid Prime 4 was with an internal studio, we believe, with Nintendo. They didn't really ever put a name to it. Through some digging, people found that Bandai Namco was helping some. It wasn't ever super clear who was actually working on it, but now we know exactly who's working on it. Retro Studios, as should have been from the start, I think most people understand. Was Retro Studios working on something else? Well, maybe. Who knows? If they never announced anything, then I guess they just wasted a bunch of time. Maybe they helped with a bunch of projects as like a supplementary studio. Who knows? But it looks like they have been given a pretty large budget and they are rolling along, as they posted on Twitter, for a page to their careers, and it looks like they are hiring massively. And it is all seemingly for Metroid Prime 4 as a massive build-up to put this thing out. I mean, they had a full career page that you could see where it has art directors, product testers, outsourcing manager, level 3 IT engineer, level 1 gameplay engineer, level 3 gameplay engineer, physics engineer, lead cinematics artist. They have all kinds of stuff here for Metroid Prime 4. So yeah, Nintendo must have, I guess, signed off on the budget. They got all that figured out. And here they are now, rolling along, ready to do some hiring. And I'm excited, but I'm also trying to figure out, when would Metroid Prime 4 come out? Because I think it's going to be probably one of the last games maybe on this generation of the Switch. Because of course, we'll get another generation of the Switch and then another one. And we'll move on from this one, but because they restarted development, and we seem to know when they did it, right? It seemed to be right at the end of 2018 or early 2019 when they scrapped and started over, and most likely here's what I think happened, all right, with Metroid Prime 4 while we're on this. I think they were probably trying to develop it in Unreal Engine 4, this is like speculation, and because we know Metroid Prime is mostly a 60 frames per second game, with Unreal Engine 4 being an engine that's supported but not necessarily designed specifically around the Switch or anything, I have a feeling it wasn't shaping up or performing how they wanted it to, and Retro Studios probably either built their own engine or they figured out a way to make it all work in a different custom engine. That's why I think it got scrapped and restarted with Retro, and it seems like Nintendo really liked the tech demo that they presented, because here they are now hiring massive amount of positions, and I have a feeling if that is the case and they showed up with their own engine and their own little tech demo, this could be 2022 possibly. I like to think that Retro is hiring a lot so they can get this thing done in its 2021 holiday. And if that is the case, then yeah, we'll actually come in a year or two before the Switch, I assume, kind of finishes up. So here's hoping that is the case. Metroid Prime 4 comes out, it's the full 60 frames, it looks good, and it's on its own engine, because Retro knows how to get a lot out of weaker hardware generally. We saw what they did with the Wii. The GameCube Metroid Prime looks like a 360 game most times if you use like component and everything, so pretty cool stuff, but we'll see what happens from here. Just know it looks like Retro is hiring massively for Metroid Prime 4, so that's exciting. Next up, let's talk about the UK sales charts, as these give us an idea, really, first thing as to how some sales went down for some of the games that released this past week. That included Mortal Kombat 11, of course, earlier in the week on Tuesday, and then Days Gone on Friday. So it's kind of interesting to see them fall in the same week, mostly because Days Gone was kind of iffy. It seems to be a very average game with reviewers right now, but some people are actually really enjoying it. But either way, I was still curious to see how that would do against a game like Mortal Kombat 11 that is on all platforms, right? It's on everything. So to go up against a first-party game that is on one platform versus a game that's available on everything, I figured Mortal Kombat 11 would probably take number one. It's been out for more days, it's out on more platforms. However, here's the top 10, and take a look at what's number one. It is Days Gone. Days Gone actually took the number one spot, which probably is surprising a lot of people, and it is 27% lower than last year's exclusive God of War, which isn't terrible considering these only track physically. Now, Mortal Kombat 11 at number 2, on the other hand, actually was 43% smaller than the Mortal Kombat X, or I'm looking at 10 in that case. So that did drop off. Again, all physical. That could have been a game that a lot of people bought digitally. FIFA 19 at 3, Red Dead Redemption 2 at 4, Tom Clancy's Division 2 at 5, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 6. Mario Kart is always in like the top 10. I guess that shouldn't surprise. I just think people buy Mario Kart when they buy a Switch. Look at that. Sekiro's still up there in the top 10. That's awesome. At number 7, Forza Horizon 4 at 8, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe at 9, and World War Z at 10. So this is a really good result for Sony Bend Studio, obviously, because it actually did pretty well in the UK. Now, Europe is actually a great area for PlayStation 4. It sells really well there. Software generally moves pretty well. So I guess I'm not overly surprised that Days Gone could top sales charts. It's just surprising to me that Mortal Kombat, after they said it was like one of the best launches they've ever had for a Mortal Kombat franchise, it wasn't able to top the charts despite being multi-platform and everything. So maybe Days Gone I don't know, it's just because it's Sony and it's in a territory that Sony generally controls really well, although Mortal Kombat 11 is also on the PlayStation 4. Hard to say, but hey, Days Gone. Good job to them. That's good to see it top charts. I'll be curious to see how it does, of course, in MPDs and everything as well. But so far, so good for Sony Bend and Days Gone. And our last bit of news, looks like the 3DS is officially done. It's on its way out, as Nintendo has reported that they have no new announcements for any first-party titles going forward. So the 3DS, it does appear to be done. It's over. Now, that's not surprising. They said they only expect to sell another 1 million over this fiscal year that we're currently in. So over the next 12 months, they only expect to sell 1 million. And after that, they might actually discontinue the 3DS, especially if they're not developing any first-party titles. Now, they did say that third parties would be developing for it, which is good, I guess, for people who have a 3DS. But I think most people who have a 3DS or a 2DS are probably mostly buying into the backlog, and at that point, they're probably looking at the Switch, as Pokemon made the jump. No more Pokemon games are coming to the 3DS, and that's right now a lot of the people who are on the 3DS. The mainline Pokemon game is the last thing people are waiting for. Sword and Shield are coming up this holiday, and that's probably when Nintendo expects the rest of the 3DS crowd to kind of move over, and that's why they're moving on from the 3DS heavily. There's a Persona Q2 game coming out, so at least there's something there from third parties. But yeah, that's kind of it for the 3DS. You know what? I think it's okay. I think it's time to move on from it. And to finish up with our comment of the day from Friday, this one's from Steve saying, I feel like Tim Sweeney is baiting Steam with their 88-12 split comment. Having Steam match their split is the last thing Epic Games actually wants, because it's the only thing they have going for them. By making the comment about shutting down their store, if Steam uses an 88-12 split, Steam is no longer able to make that change without looking like they're directly reacting to Tim Sweeney's tweet. Tim and Epic then get to laud themselves for saving the PC gaming industry if that ever happens, even if their store fails. Steve, you are absolutely right. That is exactly what Tim Sweeney is doing here. He's pretty much called out Steam to do it, and if they do move their revenue split around, well, guess what? Tim Sweeney can say he made them do it, and the Epic Game Store is making gaming better. That's the strategy. Like I said, they've built the high ground, they're now standing on it, and they're looking down. So they're hoping that's what happens. Even if Steam does match their split, though, they still excuse all royalties for the Unreal Engine 4 if you sell on their Epic Store. So they're not really telling people straight up what's happening with that, because the developer stuff will still get more money on their platform just because of that. So there will always be an advantage, even if Steam matches their split. And trust me, these third-party acquisitions and stuff, they won't stop even if Steam matches them, like he says. This is all just a ploy to make them look like the good guy. And ladies and gentlemen, let's go do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, the like button really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is Retro Studios, what are they doing over there? What are they working on now? What is their strategy right now going forward? What's Metroid Prime 4 gonna look like? Because it's interesting to hear about them hiring so many people and really ramping up for the development, because I think it is going to be a ridiculously good-looking game, even though it's on a less powerful system like the Switch. Retro Studios, they know what they're doing with hardware like that. What about Days Gone somehow taking the top spot even over Mortal Kombat 11, and then the 3DS is done? Are you surprised? Or I think most people are not surprised. I think they're ready to let it go, but let me know what you think down below. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.